Hello, people! Anex here, and this week I'm back with something a little different. It's not fantasy, it's not sci fi, it's not even fiction. I'm talking about two books this time, and they're both quite personal for me. This is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay and When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. These are two very different styles of books from two different countries, but they are linked by a common thread. They're both deeply personal accounts written by medical doctors. I wanted to make this video because I read both of these books a while ago and I can't stop thinking about them. The ideas discussed in them keep gnawing at me. But why are these books so personal for me? Who am I really? Alright, so let me introduce myself properly. Hi, my name is Anex Wilson. I'm a third year medical student at Imperial College in London. I'd like to talk to you today about these two books. This will involve me talking about the themes of this book, what I really like about them, the impact that they've had on me, and why you should read them. Would that be okay? Great. Before we get started, can I ask that you smash that subscribe button and press that bell icon so you can get notified of future reviews? Perfect. That joke might have been a bit forced, and I don't even know how many people will understand the reference. Anyways, let's get started. Book 1, When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. This is an autobiographical book by American neurosurgeon Dr. Paul Kalanithi, who was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic lung cancer during the last few months of his residency. He writes the book in that period, detailing the experiences of going from a doctor to a patient. I think a lot of people have probably heard of this book already. It was massively successful when it first came out. Dr. Paul is the kind of person that I aspired to be when I was younger. He studied at Stanford and then Cambridge before studying medicine at Yale. He was no doubt a high achiever. He had a thirst for books and reading. He wanted to understand life and its purpose. He found his calling to do medicine because he wanted to understand the meaning of life. This book is his journey into understanding the answers for that question following his diagnosis and his life afterwards. This is a deeply moving piece of literature. He guides the readers beautifully through the complex questions he's asking and his journey to reaching those complex answers. He tells extremely captivating stories about his life as a neurosurgeon, doing complicated procedures, saving lives, and generally excelling in the field. The introspective moments are wonderfully tied in with his experiences at each of those times in his life. The revelation of his cancer diagnosis is shocking and emotionally jarring, even though you know it's coming. But this book is so much more than its technical aspects. It's an insight into the brilliant mind of a man who was gone too soon. When Breath Becomes Air massively impacted me when I read it. His descriptions of struggling to come to terms with his condition and its severity as it worsens was really emotionally moving. I had to put it down and pick it up several times just to finish the book. It is not an easy read. It also completely changed my viewpoint on what it was like to be a patient. I've thankfully never had to go through any major medical problems. This book really opened my eyes to what it feels like to be in the other chair in the consulting room. I love how full of hope this book is too. Dr. Paul and his wife, Dr. Lucy, are both very aware of the implications of his diagnosis. Yet they always try to hold on to hope. They always try to find little moments of joy amongst all the heartbreak and the suffering. I find that so inspirational. I also love the name of this book, When Breath Becomes Air. The motif of breath and air is repeated throughout the book. It's especially significant and recurrent because he's suffering from lung cancer, which means as the disease progresses, each breath becomes more and more difficult. He gets put on machines that help him breathe, and so air starts to become a symbol of how much time he has left on Earth. The title of this book is based on a couple of lines from a poem called Celia 83 by Baron Brooke Fulk Greville, which goes, "You that seek what life is in death, now find it air that once was breath." This is sort of a perfect reflection of Dr. Paul's life, and I think you will understand that more as you read the book. So I strongly recommend you check this out. It's a powerful and unique story that will leave you thinking for a long time afterwards. And now let's talk about our second book, which is a little different. Book 2, This is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. Alright, so this is a completely different style of book to the last one. Adam Kay was a junior doctor in the UK, which means that he finished medical school, did some more work, chose a specialty, and then he was working his way up to be a consultant. This book hits especially close to home because Adam Kay trained at Imperial College School of Medicine, ICSM, which is where I'm at. It's based on a journal that he kept during his training. He talks about his experiences with the public and the NHS, the UK's National Health Service. He also describes in a lot of detail the reality of being a junior doctor in the UK, and he does all of this with a ton of laughs. This book is hilarious. The humor is sometimes dark, usually sarcastic, and always witty. I laughed out loud several times reading this. Sometimes the situations he's describing are so absurd as to be unbelievable, but they really do happen. Adam also never shies away from talking about the more emotional cases, the times when something goes wrong in his professional life. Because of the overarching humor in this book, you get so invested in his experiences, so the less funny, more emotional cases hit you twice as hard. This book is honestly an emotional roller coaster that will leave you breathless and probably quite overwhelmed by the end. And you will love it all the way through. Adam Kay released this book in 2017 following a time when a historical junior doctor contract dispute was taking place in England. The disputed contract led to junior doctors going on strike in January 2016 for the first time in 40 years. There were two more strikes that year, one in February and one in April. During this time, some people made the claims that junior doctors were going on strike and endangering public health just for bigger pay. So Adam Kay wrote this book to show his experiences and the realities of being a junior doctor. I only read this book a few months ago, so nearly 2 years into my medical school. I'll be honest, reading it made me slightly worried about the career I had chosen, but more importantly, it gave me a whole new level of respect for the work that doctors do. I think working conditions have improved for junior doctors over the years, and it's better now than it was back in 2010 when Adam Kay left the profession. But it's still not an easy job. This book made me understand that more than any work experience I've ever done. But my main takeaway from this book wasn't about the difficulties of the job. I was more drawn to the little moments of happiness and the feelings of satisfaction that you get every time you're able to help someone through some tough times in their life. It's why I started on this career, and I know that it's also a reason why a lot of other people I know started studying medicine. This book really reminded me once more why I wanted to become a doctor. So this is definitely another book I would recommend everyone to check out. It's delightfully funny, extremely touching, and possibly gross for some people at a few moments. You can read it to see the secret diaries of a junior doctor and understand this crazy profession. So yeah, that's what I think about those two books. I love both of them for very different reasons, and they're both really close to my heart. My heart. I know what a heart is. I'm a real medical student. If you're still listening to me talk on this video, then just smash that subscribe button for even more of these. I have a lot of other book reviews too on this channel if you want to check out some fantasy fiction. This one, and this one are especially good. Have you read either of the books that I talked about in the video today? Then tell me in the comments what you think about them. Let's start a discussion. It's honestly why I make these videos. Are there any other books about the medical field that you've read that you want me to check out? Then tell me in the comments too. As always, don't forget to like and share this video with anyone that you think might care. Till next week, see ya!